Again, as a courtesy to everyone in the room, please silence your cell phones. Please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question during this news conference. Recording a press conference video on all cell phones is prohibited. And if you're joining us on Zoom, please use the raised hand function for questions. We'll address questions in the room first and take questions from Zoom as time permits. Okay. Yeah, water's good. Bye, Mitch. Okay, I've made my announcements. Kevin, can you give us an overview, please?
Yeah, I mean, congratulations, LSU. They've certainly earned it today. A really good team that played, one of their best games all year at the right time. And, tip your cap to them. Offensively, we didn't really have an answer for them on the mound today. I think these last three games, we didn't get as much as we probably needed to out of our starters, which put a little bit too much pressure on our bullpen early in games, and we were probably playing with fire the last couple games, and obviously it got to us today. So, we had a great season. One game is not going to define, the hard work and, all the accolades that our team has gotten, both as a team and as individuals. Certainly right now it's very disappointing, but it's certainly not going to take away from the accomplishments that these guys, to my left and everybody else that's in the locker room right now. So, yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow right now, but glad we had an opportunity to come back, play for a national championship, and I would expect us to be, in the same spot next year.
Okay, we'll open up for questions now for student athletes, and Kevin will start, then Joe.
Yeah, Kevin Brockway, Gainesville Sun for BT. Jack in the first inning struck out the final two. He seemed like he was, throwing the ball really hard in a really good groove. What changed in the second inning in your mind? Did you try to get him, dial back in the visits, or what kind of unraveled there in the second for him?
Yeah, I don't know. Wasn't really our day. all around. I think Zoe hit on that, but it wasn't our day.
Joe?
Joe Healy, D1 Baseball. For Josh and BT, just given that you both had opportunities after last season to move on and do something else, but decided to come back, what has this run and making it back here and putting Florida back in this spot meant to you both?
It's meant the world. And I thank the Lord Jesus Christ for allowing me, and, Sully for allowing me to come back. It's meant the world to make this a memorable run. And, we worked hard all off season. We worked our butts off, all year during the season. And, it's nothing short but a blessing. And just to, be here and compete for a national championship. And, I wouldn't choose anybody else to go to war with, other than my brothers. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it's nothing but a blessing for sure.
BT?
Yeah, it was the easiest decision of my life to come back here last year. I mean, forever indebted to this program, these coaches, these players. It was seriously like a no-brainer, honestly. It's been the best 2 years of my life, and very grateful.
Okay, next question.
Jacob Rudner, 24/7 Sports. Wyatt, for you, I mean, this is also your last time with this team. Just what did this year mean to you, and what's going through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, obviously going through my mind right now, I'm pretty disappointed, but I'm just thankful to be here. I'm thankful to have this opportunity and just to be able to play with these guys.
Okay, Kevin again.
Yeah, Kevin Brockway, Gainesville Sun. For any of the players, the foundation you guys laid, it was 5 years since you guys, got back to the College World Series. You guys make a deep run. What do you think this is going to do for the future of the program?
Anybody?
This is definitely going to inspire, the next team to work harder than we did, and especially just, try to get back here next year. I have no doubt in my mind that Sully and the rest of the coaching staff are going to bring in a good group of guys, and, they're going to be just as talented, if not more talented than we were this year. And, it's just a testimony to how hard they work, how hard we worked this year, and, with our strength coach and all the coaches all around, and how we took it upon ourselves individually to come in, day out, and just give it our all. So, I think they're going to learn a lot from that, especially with the guys that are coming back. And, those guys are just going to push the freshmen and, the other younger guys to be right back in this position next year.
BT?
I think one thing that sticks out in my mind is, Chuck always talks about how he's practically just a gatekeeper as a coach of this program. And it's really, this program is really in the players' hands. And, when you move on 10 years and you come back, it's like, do you want to see the players play as hard as you did and play the game the right way and play for the right reasons and with the right people? It's like, so when you talk about getting a program back on track, I know when I first got here, the program wasn't talked about very highly. It was in a bad place. And I think one of the things I'm most proud about is I think, this program is back to where it needs to be, not only, competing for championships, but it's made up of great people. It's made up of family men. It's made up of people that truly care about each other and play for something bigger than themselves. Number one being Jesus Christ, I think, and then number two being Florida Gators. And three is the name on their back. So I think really everybody on this team's bought into that, and anybody else that comes into this program now, I think they're going to have a pretty good understanding what they need to play for if they want to wear the F on their chest.
Wyatt?
Yeah, I think BT hit the nail on the head. I feel like this older guys kind of left a good foundation for all these younger guys, and just having this experience for those guys and knowing what to expect whenever a lot of us are gone.
Okay.
Nick Deltorre, Gators Online. Why, kind of on that note, what did those guys to your left and Brandon coming back this year, what did that do to the clubhouse and the kind of leadership that they provided for you and the younger players just this season?
Yeah, it meant the world to all of us. Having having those fourth-year guys back that we really weren't sure that were going to come back, I mean, that meant everything to me, I know, and then I know it meant a lot to the other guys. So just having these guys and being able to play beside them meant the world to me.
We have time for one more question for the players. If not, guys, it was a great season. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. Thank you. Thank you, BT. Thanks, Wyatt. Okay, questions for Sully. We'll start with Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin Brockway, Gainesville Sun. Coach, I guess I'll ask you a question similar to BT, just about Jack's first inning. You know, he comes out, he strikes out two. He looks like he's in a really good place. And what did you see in terms of him maybe unraveling in the second, or what kind of transpired there in the inning?
I don't know. His bullpen was really good before the game. I thought our team was in a really good place. I thought BP was good, in and out was good. They were loose. He put two on the board at the bottom half of the first. Wyatt, again, hits another home run. I thought the dugout was electric. And then all of a sudden, we had 4 walks, and I think 2 hit by pitches in the first 2 2/3 innings. And, then we had to go to the pen earlier than we wanted to. And honestly, I think, after his first, I thought he was going to be dialed in. Don't really have an answer of what happened other than we lost control of the strike zone. And then, if you look at the last 3 games that we played here, we may not have gotten as much out of our starters that we probably needed to, quite honestly. So we had to go to our pen in the 5th and the 3rd, and now today the 2nd. And when you start using the same pitchers in multiple games in the same weekend, so to speak, a 3-game series, you can kind of get exposed a little bit. And I think we probably flirted with a little bit of fire with that. And knowing that today, that if that did happen where Jack kind of lost control of the strike zone and we had to go to the pen early, that was probably not going to be in our best interest, quite honestly. So there's a lot of things that kind of factor into it. But I just think that we just didn't, command, the ball as well as we should have or could have.
Okay, go back here to Victor.
Jacob Runner, 24/7 Sports. Sully, the guys who were up there with you, just what did their effort mean to you this year, especially the guys who chose to come back and could have easily gone professional after last year?
Yeah, there's some other guys that have had maybe an opportunity to be up here too, but each one of them has their own story, right? Wyatt had 4 at-bats his freshman year and has turned himself, in my opinion, you could flip a coin between him and Dylan Cruz, and that's my honest opinion. I think they're both tremendous players. They're going to have great careers moving forward. And then you got a guy like BT, who was one of the very few transfer portal guys that we've had. He's evolved into one of the best leaders, human beings I know. You guys all know his story, that he's going to move on, and this is his last game. And it's very emotional for him. And then a guy like Josh has been in our program for 4 years, and you've seen him develop. Not only as a baseball player, you could talk about the hitting and the defense, but the maturity level, and it's like, so each one of them have their own stories. So I may have a little different perspective. I'm just as disappointed as anybody, but this will sting, obviously, when you're a competitor, but one game is not going to define, the success we had in the season. That's the bottom line.
Get back here.
Darren Stoltz, Fisk West 2, Orlando. Kevin, just to go on this journey with this group, you kind of hit on it just there, but to be back here because of them, what does that mean to you?
Well, for me personally, of course, you love coming out here, but it's really about the players and the staff, and I've been here enough. I know how special this place is and how hard it is to get here. A lot of these guys, this is the first time, actually all of them, first time they've been here. So now they at least got a taste of it. But, it's just hard to get here. You go back and you look at, like, the regionals and how intense that was at home. We lost, and we had to beat Texas Tech and beat UConn. And then we played an SEC team that was playing really good, and they finally got healthy at the end of South Carolina, and it was electric at home. And, you play Virginia, and we got to come from behind. Like, played 3-1 run of games. It was a tough one on Saturday late, and then obviously we had the game yesterday, and then today it just kind of got away from us. So, yeah, it's been quite the journey, and and I'm confident, with the players that we got coming back and the new players we got coming in, that we'll have an opportunity to come back out next year.
Okay, Matt.
Matty Ramirez, White and Blue Review. Can you sum up Ty's week? He set the record for most home runs in the CWS, and just felt like every time there was a big moment, he was the one making the swing.
Yeah, it's one of those stories you tell. It'll be told next year. There'll be somebody else that starts the season as a starter that kind of struggles for whatever reason, and you just tell them to stay the course, keep working hard, keep being a good teammate. And when your opportunity does come again, you'll be ready for it. And I think that's just a really great example of what happened with Ty. It's but it's easy to tell to tell the story. But when you got somebody on your team, the other players have seen, now they can see firsthand what you're trying to tell them.
Okay, Jacob.
Jacob Redden, 24/7 Sports. We asked the players just about the foundation that they maybe have set for next year and how this kind of sets up for you guys. Just what would you say about that?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you come out to the World Series and have the run that we did, yeah, the foundation's set. And I kind of struggle with the program was in a tough spot or whatever. I mean, it's very hard to do this every year. So we go on a run for 4 years, 15 through 18. And then obviously 19 was a different year because we were younger. And then in 20, that was taken away from us because of COVID, right? And we were 16-1. And then last year it really started to pick up speed again. So it was really 19 that it was the year that we probably weren't as good as we wanted to be. Because 20 we were, but the season was shortened. Last year we hosted a regional at home when we were 6-12 in the league, and we get things going again. And then obviously this year is a different year. So, yeah, but these guys have certainly got us back to where we need to be, and quite honestly, the expectations are to get to Omaha and play for a national championship, and I personally love that challenge, and our players do too, and that's just the culture that we have.
Nick.
Nick Del Torre, Gators Online. Sully, just your thoughts on the fans that came out here and the way that the fans have kind of embraced not only these guys, but the whole team this year.
You talking about Florida fans? Oh, yeah, it was great. It was great. I mean, I'll never forget yesterday after the game when they started playing Tom Petty. It was really cool. I actually came out and took a video of it. But to be a part of that was awesome. And, yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I mean, the unknown if you're going to get here, and all of a sudden you got to make plans at the last second, flights and hotels, and so I do appreciate all the fans that came out because it's not only time consuming, but it costs a lot of money to come out here too. So I mean, but no, we certainly appreciate all the fans that came out and supported us back at home as well.
Okay, any more questions for Sully? If not, again, congratulations on.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Thanks. Kevin, thank you. Good to meet you. I don't know. It might be. I haven't seen him up yet, have I? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. That was empty. Oh, he's still on the field.
They were still on the stage like 2 minutes ago.
Okay. I felt like we could go 15.
Oh, yeah. I think that was. You like that?
That's great.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Like 12 different backgrounds.
Good job. Yeah, no. I've got Cole, Dylan, Thatcher, Jordan. Pelosi first. Cruz, Thatcher, then Thompson. And those of you listening upstairs, remember that the Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly.
What are you expecting? 10 minutes?
They were still out on the stage. Yeah. Yeah. You remember the year that Coastal won? We all hear that Thursday afternoon when Coastal Carolina, it was 16. Were you doing it then? Okay. 18. The coach from Coastal went up in the stands. Had to search for him to get him back down. Yeah. It was the day, it was into an extra day because of rain. And it was an afternoon game on Thursday, so it was not well attended, really. July 1st. But won a national championship. What can you do? You're going to celebrate with your family. I think he had his priorities.
Yeah, you should go watch that. Did you hear me say that? They're circling the field right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the night.
We were just talking about the year Coastal won. LSU fans? I did too. It'd be hard here. Yeah.
Not really, but it just makes it a photo wall.
Yeah, that's true.
Nigel, you want to bring any cards? Back in the hotel room. I went and played some cards last night for a bit. Okay. Years of coming up here. Coming from the Northeast, like, okay, we have college baseball, but it's not. I played one season at a Division III school in upstate New York where we literally had a team to shoot parks because it was so cold. I went to the ACC this year, and so we, were new out. We applied for national first or being done. Yeah, and guy I used to work for is actually the guy that got the Hoover Met built. Mark Clarkson was the GM at Barons for a long time when it first started out at Lakewood in the Tigers organization. And they built the net in mid '80s. Took off from there. I've been to the farm, so I've only been for a couple of games. It's really interesting. I mean, especially an MLB game there next year. Like they have to make some changes to for the Players Association for the players. More so than almost anywhere else.
Yeah, my replacement.
Bye, guys. I won't.
Yeah.
What's that? There's a lot to see on the drive.
It's kind of pretty. Yeah.
Still haven't been to Oklahoma. A friend of mine was the baseball SID at LSU for a while. Who was that? Jack Carnifex. Yeah, a long time ago. I know him from when I worked at hockey.
At LSU?
No, Oklahoma State.
OSU. Sorry, I misunderstood.
He's back in Stillwater now. He runs the National Wrestling League.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. Thought about going there this year, but didn't quite work out. From the golf club, I want to do it inside 9,000 degrees. That's a tall order for Oklahoma. Yeah.
What would be the best way?
I think you have to go first base side.
First base side would be that one.
So where do you live? So how long is that from? one Mexican license plate. The goofiest thing I ever saw that I'm getting when I was there. So I was playing somebody that was playing competing against a lot, which probably doubt it. And there was a truck that had a Texas license plate. Yeah. That should have came there on a ship. Why would you shoot the truck? Yeah. It's like a little joke. Why the interstate highways? Why? Puerto Rico doesn't too. It's one of my favorite answers to a trivia question. What university used to own Yankee Stadium? No, they owned the stadium. I think they were part of, or maybe there was a syndicate that owned the stadium or a piece of it. I told you, that's the first thing I asked you if we're getting locked in. But it's so far away. It's slow. Oh, yeah, it's yeah, man. Great job. Yeah. Hey, how are you? Hey. Nice job down the road. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thanks again.
Let's not waste that question. Yeah, but they're all walking out to go to the locker room. That's not a J thing. Oh yeah, I like it.
Starting to see. Yeah.
Once again, anybody's hotel key? Anybody? Yeah. I thought we were getting movement. Oh, I know. I saw her. She was moving around. You remember her son, Kramer? Remember her son, Kramer? Yeah. On my Facebook, it popped up that news conference where he talked about hating his blonde hair. There's nothing wrong with blonde hair. I talked to Paul last year, and he was here with Notre Dame. You talk. Pretty soon. It looks like they're waiting on players. Smoking cigars. It's the Joe Burrow effect. Team up. For those of you just joining us, I'm going to say this for the last time. As a courtesy to your fellow media members as well as the coaches and student athletes, please silence your cell phones. Please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask questions during this press conference. And recording a press conference on cell phones is prohibited. And if you're joining us on Zoom, please use the raised hand function for questions. We will address questions in the room first and take questions from Zoom as time permits.
No, we'll wait for him. We'll wait for him.
You're in no hurry.
I'm in no hurry.
We're waiting on Jordan.
They like to do that.
It smelled like a bad college dorm last year after their win last year. There he goes. I'll lose you now. Oops. Okay, Jay, give us an overview, please.
Yeah, I don't know where to start, so I'll do the best I can with this. National championship team, I think the most gratifying part of it is they were national championship people every single day of this thing. And, kind of feels like a two-year win, if that makes sense. I think about meeting with Cade right when I got the job and said, hey, we're gonna go to work and change a lot of things, and just his coachability, amazing. Dylan is the best player in college baseball history, in my opinion, and just so thankful. And frankly, it was a big reason that I accepted the job. I probably would have looked at LSU anyways, but knowing that I was going to have a once-in-a-lifetime player on my team for 2 years was a big deal to do that. When I think about Thatcher, I told him, when he said yes, that he was going to come to LSU, I said, hey, big guy, you might be the most important recruit of my entire career, because I knew what the other three on the stage were going to do, but to win a national championship and get through the NCAA tournament, we needed real aces, and that's an ace right there, and one of the best pitchers in the country. And so it's kind of cool to feel that full circle. And I don't know that I'll ever have children. Like Jordan is close to what I would consider like a son as anybody. And I'm so proud of him. I think Dylan and Jordan are the only two players that have started every single game for the last 2 years. And what a championship performance, heartbeat of our team. And I'm so proud of them. But that kind of gives you some insight, into it. Some other thoughts. I really believe this will go down as one of the best teams in college baseball history. So consistent in the regular season. I think the SEC tournament is the only week of the year we had a losing record. If you think about that. Not one losing week for an entire regular season, 11 wins in the postseason, 6 of them against SEC teams. And I really believe we played and beat every team, the best team that we could have played along the way throughout the entire tournament at that spot. So I love these guys. I'm so proud of them. And they are a worthy champion if there ever was a worthy champion.
Okay, let's open it up for questions for the student athletes, and we'll start with Leah.
Leah Van, Baton Rouge Advocate. Dylan, you told me at the beginning of the season that you wanted to leave LSU a legend, bring home a national championship, win the Golden Spikes Award. You just did all of those things. So what does it feel like to accomplish the things you set out to do?
Yeah, man, it's such a great feeling. I felt like almost every box was checked off except that national championship box. And we all knew this was going to be our last game here. And, to finally say that I'm a national champion, it's the greatest feeling in the world. And, I feel like all the boxes are checked off now, so it's good.
Okay. Back here with Michael.
Michael Ferraro with Bird Sports Network. For all three athletes, could you guys kind of talk about what was going through your mind when the final out was out and the dog pile and the celebration?
There are 4 up here, you know.
There are 4, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Talking about him, right?
Jordan, you start.
I'm short, I can't see.
Jordan's.
Yeah, I mean, I got the first 2 ground balls of the inning, and after I got that second out, I kind of looked at Gavin and, almost started tearing up, but knowing that we have to get one more out, I wanted that last ball too. But, I just can't be more proud of my guys in the way that we've came out all year and just competed and fought through adversity. When guys went down, guys stepped up. That just speaks about the character about our team and the way that, we just handle our business and own our deal every single day. So, it is very rewarding for what we were able to accomplish, not only tonight, but the whole season.
Thatcher.
Yeah, I mean, that is the greatest feeling in the world. And, it's being a national champion, but it's with who we did it with, every single guy right here and every guy in that locker room. It means everything.
Dylan.
Yeah, man, I think we were all fighting for that last out, the greatest feeling in the world. We've had some tough days, in the fall, long days, just grinding it out. We call it 2 days where we literally sleep at the field and train twice a day. And, looking back, I wouldn't trade anything for those moments right there, because this is where we're at now. This is, the reason why we did all that stuff. And, it's just a great feeling.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a different perspective, being in the dugout on that last out, but, just hearing the crowd, finally starting to realize what's happening, and you're looking over in the dugout and you're seeing so many smiling faces, and I'm holding Sammy Dutton in my arm, and he's just so happy, and, watching that last strikeout is just, you can't put a price tag, you can't put any, feelings, words into that. Like, it's so exciting, and, it's so, the sense of, gratification, that's awesome, and, it's everything we work for.
Let's go here with Aaron.
Aaron Fitt, D1 Baseball. Cade, you said the other day that you grew up wanting to be Mikey Matuk and Ryan Schimpf and Jared Mitchell. What does it make you feel to realize that now kids are going to be growing up wanting to be Cade Beloso?
That's pretty cool. I'd want to be like this guy to the left of me, these 2 guys. But, set a goal and achieve it. We have a saying around here, don't dream, because if you dream about it, it seems almost unreachable, but set a goal and reach it, and, the sky's the limit, and, it feels really good to be Mikey Matuk and, Jared Mitchell, Ryan Schiff, Sean Ochenko now. That's something that no one can take away from us being national champions.
Koki.
Dylan, were you the one who started the ring gesture, and was that an idea you sort of had heading into this game if you guys were up ahead, or what was the deal there?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I thought about it for sure. I saw Joey B do it and Reese do it. So I thought I had a good moment to do it right there in the 8th inning and did it. And then I think Tommy did it and Trey. So, it's going to be a good picture. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Okay, we got Wilson here.
For Cade, Jay's saying that he had a meeting with you and things are going to change. How did this program change over the last 2 years? Like, in what ways?
This guy he loves baseball so much, and there's not a person in the room that cares more about LSU, cares more about the game of baseball, more about people than this guy sitting to the right of me. And this program's so lucky to have Coach Shea Johnson, and they're gonna have to build a new intimidator for what he's about to do, and he's coming. He's not stopping. I promise that. But it's just the culture changed, and we don't really like to throw around the word culture, but we're a group of hardworking guys that are never going to stop, and always going to just keep playing, through good things, bad things, etc. I think that's what changed the most.
Okay, we'll go here with Lee.
Thatcher, the offense put up a couple of big innings early on in the game when you were out there. How did that help you calm down?
Yeah, when the offense is producing like that, my job is to get them back in the dugout as quick as possible, and that feels suffocating for the other team. So just kind of telling myself, don't give them an inch. That's what I was telling myself throughout the whole outing. Get us back, let them do their thing.
Glenn.
Yeah, this can be for all four players. Just when you guys are looking at this thing 20 years from now, I know you might not be able to put it into full perspective, but just what do you think this 2023 team is going to mean to you guys?
Cade, you start.
It's going to be the world. It's going to mean the world to me. To leave LSU a national champion is something I remember for the rest of my life. And I'm going to remember playing with this guy and the two next to me. And it's just going to be every time we see each other, you're going to remember the national championship. You remember, hugging at the end. You're not going to remember what happened in each game along the way. Like this guy got a hit, this guy punched him out. It's just, man, we really enjoyed being around each other every day. And, I'm kind of sad that the season's over in a sense. Like we just won the national championship, but I'm sad we're not going to be able to practice and play anymore and stuff like that. But, man, I'm looking forward to those reunions for sure.
Dylan.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun reunion for sure. It was a struggle of mine, as a young kid to kind of be where my feet are. I was always looking ahead, into the future. But when I stepped in the locker room this year and saw all the talent and all the group of guys that we had, I thought it was, my last year, it's so important for me to be where my feet are, enjoy these moments, and to go out on top, a national champion, and to cap off my career and it's just it's an unbelievable feeling.
Thatcher.
The talent really, speaks for itself, but the leadership and the chemistry in the clubhouse, I'll forever cherish that, and that's the blueprint for a winning team. The things Cade Beloso, Gavin Dugas, Hayden Travinsky, the veteran leaders were able to do for us. Take, as a transfer, I didn't know anyone coming in, take me under the wing right away. Dylan leading by example, Jordan taking charge in the infield, Paul Skeens leading the staff. That type of leadership is really special, and I'll cherish that. And I've grown so much by playing with these three, playing for Coach and Paul, and the list goes on. It's really special.
Jordan.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to probably remember us because of this national championship, and I think for me, the greatest honor that I've had being at LSU and playing shortstop here for 3 years is, being able to go to battle with these guys every single day, practice, workouts, early mornings, days where you're tired but nobody cares. And, those are things that you can't trade for the world. And, I just can't be more blessed and grateful for the opportunity that we all had to be together and to be able to share this moment. It's something that I'll always remember.
Leah.
Jordan, you had kind of struggled a little bit in this tournament, and then you had a big day at the plate today. Coach was saying how you were going to be a great story. So what was kind of your mindset going into today, and did you kind of feel the crowd rooting for you?
Yeah, I did hear them. I thought that was pretty cool. And I think coming into the day, we all knew that, this was going to be the last game of the season, no matter if we won or lost. And, we just really wanted to leave it all on the line and, not give an inch. So I think not only for myself, but everyone just came out here ready to go. I mean, from the moment that we all woke up and saw each other in the morning when we had our team meeting, like we knew what we wanted to do today, and we knew what it was going to take for us to be able to accomplish it. So, I just can't be prouder of my guys.
Okay.
For all the players, was there sort of a meeting before today or a message before today, just heading into this being the last game, the deciding national championship game?
Jordan, you start.
Yeah, I mean, kind of just what I said. I mean, we all knew that this was going to be the last game of the season. We just wanted to leave it all on the line. I mean, Thatcher going out there and being able to give us everything that he had for 6 or 7 innings, whatever it was. I mean, that was freaking huge. Cade and Dylan being able to do what they do not only today but all year. I mean, those are things that I'm going to remember. But I don't even know what else to say, man. It's just an unexplainable feeling, and I wouldn't want to do it with a different group of guys. I mean, these guys are my brothers, and I love every single one of them.
Thatcher.
I mean, can't say much better than that. I mean, that's our last game as the 2023 Tigers, so we didn't have to get ourselves amped up. We knew what we were playing for, and we played for that, played for each other.
Dylan?
We didn't really have a meeting. I think we all just knew, really. Yeah, we got punched in the mouth yesterday, but that's the beauty of baseball. You get to wake up in the morning and do it all over again. So as soon as the game was over, everybody already forgot about it, and we woke up today and you could just see on everybody's faces they were ready to go, and there was nobody in the country, in the world, that was going to beat us today.
Cade?
Yeah, exactly what Dylan said. I don't even think we had a team meeting last night, which is super rare for us. It was just like, hey, let's go get some sleep. Forget about this one as quick as possible. And the message in today's meeting before the game was, one game, game 71 for the national championship. Are you in? And that was pretty much it. And I'm pretty sure you just walked away, and we were all like, yeah, let's go. So, I mean, you can't let baseball get to you. The game's brutal sometimes, and you get punched in the face, and, just got to show up and play the next day. I think we did a great job with that today.
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn Stamp, Sports Illustrated Kids. Dylan, instead of being drafted out of high school, you chose to go to LSU. After what you've experienced at LSU and here in Omaha, what advice do you have to any high schoolers who are deciding whether to be drafted now or go to college first?
Yeah, man, it was a tough decision out of high school. I was an 18-year-old kid. Didn't know what to expect for the future. There was a lot of if you go to school, it was like a bad thing or something like that. So to make that decision as a young kid like that and to be able to go to school, I mean, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to school and I wanted to experience this and bring a national championship to LSU. So if I had to give any advice, really, it's just, go to school, really, experience this, don't miss out on these 3 years. Just develop as a player physically and mentally for the next level, and everything will take care of itself.
Okay, any more questions for the student athletes? If not, guys, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Take your cards. Yes, sir.
There we go. About the chair. We got
Yes.
Chair good?
No.
Not the chairs.
Hey, Thatcher, grab those for all the guys right there.
We'll get it.
Grab those for
to
all
Bill or
the
who. Okay, questions for Jay. Wilson.
Jay Wilson, the Advocate. Congratulations, first of all. Second, you came into this game, it looked like Paul Skeens might go at any time. At what point did you know that you were going to be able to win a 3-game series without him even throwing a pitch?
The 3 in the 8th, when we scored 3 in the 8th, I felt like, the wind was out of their sails, and you could kind of see the pressing and some of their at-bats was taking them out of their plan, and we were able to just keep piling up quick outs. Like, after 3, I didn't think we would get Thatcher through 6, but we started to separate there and made it 10-2, and then he got a couple quick innings. That made a huge difference. I mean, Riley had 1 inning in him, and at a 10-2 lead right there, I felt like we could get a quick 7th. And then it's Gavin, and then Paul's begging me to pitch the 9th, and I'm like, absolutely not. I'm like, if they get within 5, we'll get you up and throwing. But it's not coach speak or anything. Like, we really go through these assessments with them in terms of his hips, his back, his lower half, all of those things. So his body is a great delivery. He needed to be able to stay in his delivery. So we had to test all of those stuff, obviously test his arm. And then we felt like if we needed him, we would have had him for 30 pitches tonight. Then it became a decision of when do you use those 30 pitches? And I felt like we would have given Florida a shot in the arm had I started him, thrown 2 innings, and then taken him out of the game. And I didn't want to do that. And I felt like, with a 3-run lead in the 8th, and they see him trot out there, the psychological help that would have been for our team would have been enough to finish a close game.
Yep. Okay, right there.
Jacques Doucet, WAFB-TV in Baton Rouge. Coach, you shared a very special moment with Jordan Thompson after the game, and I guess the last 24 hours and what he's been through, and to have the game he had tonight. Just your thoughts on that?
Yeah, see, we go way back. I mean, way back before any of this LSU stuff. When he was a 15-year-old kid, I was trying to recruit him to Arizona as a pitcher. I mean, like, and I remember walking him by at a tournament. He had just picked LSU over Arizona, and he just looked and he kind of like went, go like this, and I shake my head and I said, "I'm still mad at you. I'm still mad at you." You know, it's a great family. Cole Holland is high school coach at Helix High School, is a good friend of mine as well, and so I mean, there's a lot of history there before me taking the job. As I mentioned with Dylan, you know, knowing Jordan was here for at least a couple years, that was an appeal to it. Then last year, I mean, the guy got so many big hits, but he made so many errors at the beginning of the season. Nobody paid any attention to how important a player he was for our team. And it pissed me off a little bit, to be honest with you. Like, it pissed me off, frankly, because we wouldn't have even been in a regional last year if it wasn't for Jordan Thompson. And then we went to work. I mean, every day, August 21st on, like the first day of school, we had skill instruction with infield defense. And I'm really proud of the season that he had. And he had a tough tournament until tonight. I mean, he got way outside of himself at the plate, and but there was no way we were going to take the defense out because the defense had been so good. And then he made 2 errors yesterday, and they were really simple. I mean, he came out of his fundamentals on the double play ball by trying to do too much, and then he tried to do too much and, you know, get the guy at third base. And so if you just identify them for what they are and then coach them through it, I mean, there was never any thought of taking them out. And, you know, in the last 24 hours, like, just kind of, you know, my wife's asking me, "Is Jordan okay?" and this and that, and not really knowing all of it. And so I just brought him into my room this morning and I go like, "Hey man, like, we're winning the national championship tonight and you're going to do something special. But is there anything I can do to help you get to that point tonight?" And he looked me in the eye and said, "I'm good." And I saw tonight happen before it happened.
Okay, Leah.
Jay, this team was number 1 for 12 straight weeks. It's like not a question that they got this far, but this team had to play with its back against the wall this entire tournament. Is there like an underdog mindset that kind of sets in, or, you know, how do you kind of push through that?
Yeah, I don't think there was any underdog thought with this team. I think, you know, we tried to take the number 1 thing and turn it to our advantage. You know, I mean, everybody was asking me about pressure and expectations, and what you don't understand is it always comes back to the play, and it always comes back to the preparation, things you've heard me say a million times. Like, I don't just say that. We actually believe it. And, you know, I mean, I get choked up when I look at Cade and just watching the tournament that he had and just thinking about where he was, where we got him. Then he got hurt, missed a season, stayed with it, had to, you know, beg him to come back. Not beg him, but, you know, recruit him to come back and not move on with his life. And then to have that turn, we're not the national champions without him. So those things happen, you know, all the time. And a big thing for us as we were going through this is, you know, great teams play near their capability often, you know, and I talked about staying in character a lot. And again, those are not just words. That's what we had to do. And if we did that, then I could surrender the result, because I had so much confidence in what the result could be. And maybe the one time was when we lost a tough game to Wake Forest the other night. I mean, I thought they would looked a little down. And so, like, I grabbed them and just, you know, tried to rally them. And then before we left, it's like, hey, we're not asking you to do something that hasn't been done here. I've coached a team that's done it, okay? And LSU has done it before. So, and neither of those teams were as good as this team. Now, we had a tall order when you're looking at Drew Beam in Tennessee, and then 2 games against Wake Forest and Rhett Lauder. Like, that's impressive. Like, this NCAA, the national championship means more because of who we beat to win the national championship.
Okay, Koki.
Coach, what do you remember about the process of putting this team together this past offseason, and what were those sort of hours and days like, and what was going through your head through the whole time?
Yeah, I think you know, we looked at last year's team, and I'm really proud of, like, you know, part of me will feel like this national championship is for 2022 also. Like, you know, we really had to dig our heels in. I mean, in the SEC, it happens fast. But it was a 9th place team. It was a 9th place team in 2021 in the SEC. And, you know, we worked really, I knew there were some good young players, obviously. And we worked really hard to develop those guys. But we just didn't have enough on the mound. Like, it just, you know, guys have been hurt. You know, I think it was Marceau and Jaden Hill were moving on in the draft. Like we didn't have a rotation. Like thank God Mikhail Hilliard came back to school and flipped 70-mile-an-hour curveballs in there, and we were able to win enough games to have a 40-win season. But I just didn't want to be in that position again, and felt like the pieces were here. With the position player group was a national championship team last year. I mean, it was very similar, to be honest with you. But we had to get better on the mound, and we did. And I think back of the week the College World Series started last year. I flew to Colorado Springs and met with Paul. I flew from there to California and met with Thatcher. I flew from there to Missouri and met with Christian, and I flew from there to Tampa to meet with Tommy the next week. They all came on campus, except for Paul. We had to wait for Team USA to be over, so called Paul every day of the summer. And then we got him on board. And, knowing that we were pairing all of those guys with the strides that some of these guys had made in 1 year's time, we felt pretty good about what this was going to be. And they were very humble about it, too. This league's a beast. And so to beat Kentucky in a super regional, to beat Tennessee twice here, to beat Florida to win a national championship, that's really meaningful, because it's one thing to have, the best writers in the country write about you, how great you are. It's another thing, entirely different thing to go do it on the field.
Glenn.
Glenn West, Go 247. Jay, this core that you guys are going to be losing, obviously, after this year. You just talk about what it means, I guess, for the future of the program to kind of have some of these guys that have meant so much and kind of developed a legacy here for what you want to build going forward.
Yeah, I think it's coaching, and I think looking at the past few College World Series champions, and just looking at this tournament, there's two things, and I said this the other day: you can't be here anymore without future major league players on your roster. It's not happening. I mean, I don't know a ton about Oral Roberts because they were on the other side of the bracket. I'm sure there's a couple big leaguers on that team. And then you have to have old players that really know what they're doing. I think I'm excited about the young players that got exposed to this. And, hey, man, Jared Jones, he's a big reason we're here. That's a borderline freshman All-American. Paxton Kling's a superstar, in the making. Thatcher Hurd. Every guy that pitch tonight might be back next year. The weight game, all those guys might be back next year. And we got some work to do. And hopefully the time lost, on the road, that's about as good as endorsement as you can come up with of what took place over here the last 2 weeks.
Okay, Jock.
Coach, I had a chance to visit with your dad on the field a while ago. He was great. Said that you told him when you were 5 that you were going to be a baseball coach. What's it like to share this experience with him here? And he brought up the kind of 7-year journey from you making it to the championship at Arizona to today, and how difficult that was the first time.
Yeah, wow. Might see me crack here. Because I got started on this coaching journey really early. It's at the high school level, but I grew up in the house of a legend. He's the winningest track coach in California history. He didn't lose for 10 years. And he was a great football coach and offensive coordinator. And, my heroes were his running backs. You know what I mean? And that's all I wanted to be. And that part in itself is something enough. But, I'm sat next to Bill 7 years ago today with leaving the tying run on third base in this game and the winning run on second base. And I think about that every single day. And this championship's for this team, and it's about this team. But personally, part of me feels like I got a little bit of that back tonight for those guys. And they texted. We have a group text of that 2016 team. And Friday morning on the off day, I just walked around the stadium, and one of them texted me on there. And I said, hey, when we get this done, that's partly going to be for you guys.
Michael.
For our Sports Network. Coach, kind of a little bit of feed off his question. Coaches always have support. What would you like to say to your support and your staff?
Wow. This is a special place. This is a really special place. And, Scott's there in the back. I think he's the best athletic director in the country. I'm obviously very grateful for him giving me this opportunity. It's roll the dice, man. The West out here has not worked out. It hadn't worked out, and I actually called a couple guys that tried to do it just to avoid, some of the pitfalls, and got some great information from them. But they really, I think they took a chance. I mean, and if you look at it in the big picture, but I know what our process is. And so for him, Stephanie Remp, who's no longer with us, Dan Gaston's in the back, sports supervisor, Verge Osbury, I sat in front of them and, wanted this worse than anything in the world, and believed that I could do it with this group. And they gave me the chance. And so I'm grateful for that. But that's not where it stops. It's every single day. I mean, what baseball coach's athletic director calls them 2 or 3 times a week? Everything good. And Dan's in my office every single day. What do you need? How can we make this process that you're trying to develop the best that it possibly can be? And then, I'm just going to go for a second here. There's a lot of people that made this happen tonight. Wes Johnson is a special coach. I mean, he is a special coach. And I'm not worried about replacing the pitching coach. I'm worried about replacing the person. That's going to be the difficulty, because he's such a great person. Josh Jordan, coming over here from Duke, he's an insane worker. I can't beat him into the office, and all I do is work. I mean, it's amazing. He's done a great job for us. Mark Wanaka, we've been together for 25 years now, and the only coach that's been on my staff at every step along the way. And very, very, you can't do it any better than he does it, and doesn't get near the credit. Dan Fitzgerald, now the head coach at Kansas. We got to work right when we got here. We got to work, and he busted his rear end to help put some of this team together. We don't get Nate Ackenhausen without Dan Fitzgerald. Jason Kelly last year. We did a lot with a little on the mound, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. He's now the head coach at the University of Washington. Coach Maneri, I mentioned earlier on the field, making a transition as easy as it possibly could be. Spending time with him. Nolan Kane, recruited Dylan Cruz. That's a massive hat tip. Right there. Alan Dunn. Those guys, it's pretty awesome. To look back at that, and the GOAT himself, Skip Bertman. We're either in person or on the phone 3 to 4 times a week. And I'm sure I'm leaving some people out, but a lot of people contributed to this, and it makes it even that much more special.
Okay, go back over here first.
Zach Ewing from The Advocate. This is probably a related question. At most schools, winning a national championship is like a fan's once in a lifetime. At LSU, 14 years is like forever from what Skip built. Did you feel that pressure when you walk in, and maybe it's why you took the job? Did you embrace seeing those 6 national titles and wanting to add one?
I don't ever really think about it, because that would distract me from doing what it takes to accomplish it. And I know that sounds super weird, but I'm not a normal dude in that regard. Like I said, sitting here next to Bill 7 years ago was literally one of the most painful moments of my entire life. And I wanted to win a national championship, and I wanted these guys to win a national championship. I wanted last year's team to come to Omaha, because nobody in the program had been to Omaha. Nobody in the other than the transfers that we had brought in. And so, just taking a second out there and looking at Dylan, and looking at Trey, and looking at Jordan, and looking at Ty Floyd. We had to win game 1. Obviously, everybody saw what happened yesterday. We were mapping out the series. We have to win Saturday night. We had to win that game to have a chance to win the national championship. We knew that going into it, and the performance he gave. I want it for everybody. It's a great state. It's a lot like where I grew up. I would want it for LSU. I know all that legacy and tradition. I'm so honored, to be a part of that. I really wanted it for these guys, because they've done everything that I've asked them to do and set the standard better than you could possibly do. And that's why this is important. Not just because we're national championships, because we've been national champions every day of this thing.
Okay, Jacques.
Coach Alex Milazzo said he was taught to play the game one way, hard. And I don't know if there's one play that sums up your team, but him scoring from first and breaking a bone in his foot or whatever happened there. Can you talk about that play and just the player he is
How about the at-bats he gave us all year long? I mean, I remember looking at that stat line in 21 when I took the job, and I mean, I had fans like sending me emails like right when I got there. It's like, get rid of Milazzo. He can't hit. You know, he's terrible. He's the worst hitter I've ever seen. Should be a Division I baseball player. I looked up at the board tonight. I'm pretty sure he hit over 290, and he's one of the best defensive catchers in college baseball. And more importantly than that, and that's all throughout this team, whatever we needed him to do when we needed to do it, he did it. And it wasn't like, I need more playing time, I need this. He was just ready the whole way. And wasn't the starter. And 4 years into your career, when a freshman beats you out, to be able to stay with it, be a great teammate, be ready to make your contribution, quadruple your production from an offensive standpoint, have every pitcher want to throw to you. Like, there's a good chance he'll be on our coaching staff someday. Like, that would not surprise me. I always say in practice sometimes when we're doing like a trick play or something, like Milazzo, when you're the head coach at Zachary High School, you'll be able to do this with your team. I mean, he's special. He's all LSU. And I was thinking in the ninth inning, they're like, wait, this is going to happen. It's like somebody's got to pick him up and throw him on top of the dog pile with a broken foot.
Okay, I guess that's it. I don't want to put you through any more pain sitting here, so.
Oh, no, we can stay here all night on this one.
We're going to ask about the 18 runners left on base.
Oh. Yeah, okay. So I'll give you some insight now. Like, I didn't want to tip our struggles because, we had to stay with the team. But today we had 9 really good at-bats here with runners in scoring position. So we played them on loop, and they were short swings, low-line drives to the middle of the infield of guys not trying to do too much. So behind the scenes, that's where we were trying to get to. But there's a real part of this thing where, I mean, we just faced as good a pitching as you could for 6 of these 8 games, and they made it hard. So, yeah, they did a nice job of it tonight. That's how I'll remember this team with runners in scoring position, is this 18-4 win in the national championship game.
Thank you, Jay.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, buddy. See you.
Good to see you. Yeah, thank you.
You may want to take that, too.
I'm going to take this.